everybody, the Battery Bros are back. I have Paul here with me. We are going to be taking apart a Mustang Mach-E 75.7 kilowatt hour. This differentiates a little bit from the one we did in an earlier video. There was a large hump in the back, but there are some internal differences. Paul and I are going to race to see who takes the most bolts out, and we'll get to talking about the battery pack after that. Great. Look at that. Got that nice lithium battery smell from something. So, very, very similar build as the long-range version we saw earlier. Similar sized modules. Obviously, again, there's no hump. And there is going to be a configuration change in the modules themselves. They are going to be one cell fewer in parallel, and we'll figure out how many there are going to be in series per module, and we'll give you guys that information. Right here on the top, it does say 37 volts on the larger modules and 30 volts on the smaller. If I remember correctly from the other one, it was 30 volts on the larger modules and 27 volts on the smaller.
Yes.
So a little bit of differentiation there. Stuff up front looks about the same. There is a connector here that is not cut out, but there are bolts for it. I think that might be like an additional motor, maybe performance-wise, additional connector that they never put in. If it's a additional motor or something, I don't know.
Some option
That this pack is just doesn't have, and then maybe it's doesn't have enough power to handle it. You know, basically performance isn't there, so they just don't give you that option of motor. So it looks like it could fit in physically one way, you know, between the long range and the standard. Whether it's actually compatible, we don't know yet. That's something that we would, you know, once we have a vehicle, something we would be willing to try, and then we'll see if, you know, if we can work around getting that connector added or if it'll work without it. You know, it's possible that the long range will fit into here and you block that connector, but if you try to take this and put it into the, you know, the performance or the long range version, it might not accept it.
You can see there's a spot for a fuse as well.
Okay, so there is something that's...
Or like a dual motor all-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's what that's what I think that connector might be, is an additional motor.
Just because the Tesla, the Model 3s, is the same thing.
Same thing there.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of similarities. So again, we're gonna take out the different blocks. It looks like there's gonna be 3 different ones as well, just like last ones. And again, 2 that are gonna be opposite of each other or mirrored of each other, and then the third smaller one. So we're gonna go ahead and pull one of those 3 out. We'll do the same comparison, and then we'll talk a little bit about repurposability, rebuildability, and just things that we like or don't like. So we'll start by pulling the BMS apart, and then we'll get into the details of that. Well, let's go ahead and take these 3 packs out again. Remember that tool?
Yeah, the E, was it 12?
E10 or something. And then we need a 8 and a 10. Let me see, I'm gonna see if I can identify the module types. All right, Paul, we got everything disconnected. We're getting ready to pull the batteries out. We had a hard time doing it last time, and you wanted to say a couple things about that.
Yeah, so there's a thermal gasket sealant.
Interface.
That's between the battery and the thermal cooling pad, and basically it's stuck to it. We are gonna make a special plate. We do have some threads on these modules all the way around, so when we do start rebuilding these, we'll make something with our crane, with our hoist, and it'll make it easier on our guys, and it'll be a lot safer to pull these straight out. But for now, we'll just struggle.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Here, let's try the back. All right. There you go. This is the cooling plate we talked about. It does have coolant running through it. You can see the connections here. It runs all the way underneath the pack. It's a very thin, but I mean, it gets the job done. It circulates, and there's an expansion tank underneath the hood, just like a regular car radiator reservoir.
Right.
So, and that'll circulate and keep all the modules cool.
Or warm.
Or warm.
Depends where you live and what it is outside.
That was fun. You want to do it again?
No.
broke it.
Broke it. This is a different color from the other one. The other one was like pink,
It
right?
was like pinkish red yesterday.
Yeah, so it changed something.
This one's a lot stronger.
Yeah, no joke.
We're probably not gonna take the third one out.
Definitely not taking the third one out. We'll have to repressurize those and check them if they're good or bad. And more than likely, this is so new, it'll go for modules anyways. But the good news is the third one that we're gonna pull out is, again, it's the same as the one we just took out, except it is a mirrored version. And you can't see it because of the bars, but mirrored or reversed, like they said. So we'll go with the two we have. We're gonna go ahead and get some size and weight measurements on it. Oh, it looks like it's a 3P10S, 3P8S. They were different yesterday. They were 4P7S and 4P8S. Now we have 8 and 10. Bit different. Can't mix these and the ones from yesterday.
So the other ones were the long range, or they call it extended range.
Extended range.
Ford is extended range.
So
yeah.
This is the standard. And then I think what was the motor indicator? They had the option to upgrade them for the second motor, dual motor.
They have them, but Jax had it written down. Jax!
He's gone. All right, we'll get some sizes, we'll get some weights, and we'll go from there.
So now that we've got the modules out with a little bit of force, we can dive in a little bit. These are 3 in parallel compared to the extended range was 4, right?
4 in parallel, yeah.
And then sizing is pretty similar. 3P10S is a little heavier and longer. It's sitting at 20 inches, 14.5 inches wide, and 5 inches tall. The weight of this one is 82 pounds, and the smaller one is 66.5.
Yeah, okay, so interesting thing is obviously there's an odd number of cells. Yesterday we didn't really point it out when we did the other video, but if you look carefully, you have 2 plates, cells welded together there, and only 1 on this one. Whereas yesterday there was 2 on each. So didn't really think about it. We would have shown you that on the other packs. And I actually kind of regret putting them back because it would have been nice to have a side by side. So maybe we'll get that later. But ultimately, yeah, these break down a little bit differently. There is still an 8S module, but it is what we say this is 3/4, right? There's only 3 cells in parallel. So technically it's 3/4 of the capacity, but they're able to get 8S and 10S fit into the same space as they were only able to get 7S and 8S yesterday on the other pack.
Right.
I think I'm saying too many S's.
That's fine.
But yeah, so this one I think is actually a little bit longer than the one from yesterday, from the extended range.
We'll have to put the measurements out for them.
Yeah, so we'll show you guys the measurements at the end. You guys can pause, take a screenshot. Did you mention the lettering?
No, but before, since we're talking about size, what do you think about repurposing Second Life? What can somebody use these modules for?
Okay, so 10S, this is actually a really good 36 volt module. 36 volt isn't very popular, however, 2 of these makes a great 72 volt pack, and 72 volt is very popular. So 2 of these fit into a lot of applications, and actually a very nice fit in terms of the voltage range. And then you got 8S here, kind of the same thing as yesterday. 2 of those is a higher voltage 48 volt pack. Not every inverter can handle that 16S, but some of the better ones and some of the newer ones actually can. If you're upgrading from lithium, if you're upgrading from lead acid, you might not be able to use the full voltage range of this, but if you're buying a new one, more than likely you will be able to. But we have actually golf cart people that make like the crazy fast ones that race them.
Golf cart people.
Golf cart people. I don't know how else to say it. Like they'll race.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, they'll race the golf carts, pop wheelie, exactly. Yeah. And they're putting 72 volt batteries and sometimes even higher. I mean, you can, with these configurations, you can go up to 120 volt or whatever. You can mix and match these, but you can't mix and match these with the ones from the extended pack because of that one additional cell. You're gonna have a capacity mismatch, and then one half of your pack is gonna discharge way faster than the other.
What about cooling in the golf carts?
That's actually a very good question. Well, these things are designed to handle hundreds of amps, right? And they are designed to be cooled when they handle that kind of current. I think it really depends on the application. A lot of the times, most people will put these in not so crazy applications where there's, usually it's energy storage, stationary, and they don't have to draw a lot of current out of it, so they're not really gonna warm up. But if you are gonna race a golf cart, pop wheelies, you're gonna be drawing a lot of current.
You have a lot of airflow though.
You do have a lot of airflow, and maybe, a heat sink on these fins could do it. Basically, try it and see if your temperature goes up. If you have you need to have a BMS on here, you have the temperature sensors. Those people are just gonna have to play it by ear, see if they need it or not, based on what they do.
So standard range packs, we can talk about the part numbers. You have D, the extended range we talked yesterday has A, B, and C. Here we have D, D, F, and E we could not get out.
E,
Or
we didn't
quit.
try. Yeah, we quit while we were ahead. Yeah, so it's just a funny continuation. So A, B, and C you can mix. D, E, and F you can mix, but you can't mix those first three with the last three. So just make sure. And then the letter we're looking at is actually the second from last in the bold right here. So the FG, this would be the F of that module. So if you're ever looking online or if you're looking to buy them, that would be the indicator of which version module you're looking at. And obviously the voltage and kilowatts is all on there too. That's all pretty straightforward. Somebody asked us a good question about repairing the modules, because we talked about, you know, being able to repair the pack by swapping a module, but can we repair the module by swapping a cell? And technically, yes, it is possible. However, it's, you know, it requires a lot of special equipment. We do have
pouch cell.
They are pouch cell, and then they're laser welded. We do have a laser welder. However, it takes a lot of work to try to figure out how to replicate those original welds as best as possible. And when you're reusing already pre-welded buzz bars, is essentially what we would try to do if we were trying to do it. It's not the best result. So we might, it depends on the failure case, and kind of, you know, it's still too early to say if it's worth it, because in a lot of the newer cars, the cars that are aging out now, we're seeing the whole module deteriorating. You know, maybe there's one cell that's in the worst condition, but the rest are usually not far behind, to where there's really no sense to fix the one cell. But technically it's possible. Whether it's needed or not, we don't know. You know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's too early to tell.
So like we talked about in our Tesla pack video, if one cell in the module goes bad, you can still drive. And then you were saying earlier on this pack, if a pouch is bad, the whole battery is bad.
Yeah, so if Tesla cell failure fails, it'll burn up that little fuse and it'll cut it out of the pack. Unless it's a resistive cell or something, then it'll just draw the pack down, but you have time to repair that. But essentially a critical fault of the cell, meaning if the cell shorts out, it'll burn up that fuse on the Teslas. Whereas because you have multiple of those in parallel and they're all individually fused, the battery can, you know, continue on from that. There'll be a capacity imbalance, but it'll survive. Percentage-wise, it didn't lose a lot of its pack. With these, since we only have 3 in parallel or 4 in parallel, one, there's nothing in here that stops one cell from dragging the rest with it, right? So if there's a short failure in the one cell and it starts to discharge, it's gonna discharge. The other ones in parallel with it are gonna discharge into that one. And that's gonna create, you know, your entire vehicle's gonna stop. So you're not gonna be able to continue driving, with just one bad cell in the battery. It's gonna tell you, you're pulling over, you're stopping.
Thankfully, Ford has a 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Do you work for Ford?
No.
I'm not sure what else to say about the packs. The measurements we gave earlier, we did not count this harness on the side. That's about another inch, but it is a little bit relocatable. You have a little bit of length in there to where, maybe you cut it and route it a different way, but that length is a little bit different. So we got, aluminum to aluminum on the width for you there. And I think that was about all we wanted to say with these.
Pretty much standard range gets like 225, 227 miles from what I've heard.
Oh, and this one from the one from yesterday, remember the terminals were diagonal from each other.
Yeah.
Then all the modules here, they're all on the same side. That was another interesting, that's just because they're all even amount of cells in series. That was another thing we wanted to say. This is the early version of the standard range, right? So right now, this is essentially
the NMC.
Yeah. They modified their extended range version to fit this. That was the way they did it, right? It's just Lego pieced together differently. And the newer standard range battery they provided is the LFP version. That's the battery we're going to be doing next. And it's actually a CATL pack. And that's when they went away with this whole pack completely and got a whole battery from CATL. But essentially it made it, I think it was 70 kilowatts? No, this one's 75. That one was lower. I think it was 72 or 70. We'll tell you in the next video. But essentially it's a little bit lower capacity, but it was a lot cheaper to make. But it took up a little more space because it's not as energy dense. So that's why it does have a small little hump here, essentially. And you guys will see that in the next video. And actually the modules in there are very, very different. So we're excited to show you guys those. I looked online, I didn't find any information about that yet. So I think we might be one of the first ones to show the internals on that one, which will be neat. Thank you for watching this video. Follow us and subscribe for more. As always, if there's a particular vehicle that we don't have yet, or there's a new one out that you guys want to know, let us know. I think we have Audi
e-tron, Porsche Cayman.
Who knows? We have a Porsche. We have a Rivian.
We have Rivian. We have Polestar.
We do have a Polestar. ID4.
We have Fiskars.
We have Fiskars. Yeah, we can do a Fisker one too, if you guys are interested in the Ocean packs. All right, thank you for watching, and we'll be back with more. Battery Bros out.